Hi, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about when I was homeless, but how I knew I was meant for more. I didn't have a place to call home, and I didn't have a car. I slept in shelters, and sometimes I'd stay at Denny's overnight if I couldn't find anywhere else to go. Let me give a little bit of a backstory. I grew up in Michigan, but I moved to California when I was 21. I was going to school and living on campus, but eventually that housing crumbled. The school was found to be pocketing students' money, and it shut down. I had nowhere to go, and I ended up homeless. I was also new to this state. I didn't really know how to find a place to live. I was only 21. I was tired. I was scared. I didn't know how things were going to turn out. But I had this deep inner knowing that I was supposed to stay in California. And I didn't know about manifestation back then, but I realized that that belief is what pushed me through. I could have gone back to Michigan. My parents had homes waiting for me to come back to, but I chose not to do that because I knew I was meant to be here. Something in me was anchoring me here even when nothing around me made sense. And isn't that what manifestation is? It's knowing something to be true before it happens in the 3D. Back then, I didn't have a vision board. I didn't know what scripting was. I didn't do affirmations, but I had a feeling, a knowing, this quiet, stubborn knowing that said, you're not meant to run back. You're meant to stay and figure this out. Even when I was sitting at Denny's overnight just to stay warm, even when I felt invisible, that voice stayed with me. Now that I know about manifestation, I look back and I realize I was manifesting, not by doing these techniques that people tell you to do, but by holding on to that one belief that I had, that I was meant for more, and that I was meant to stay here. That belief was enough to pull me through because if I was meant to stay here, that means that somehow, some way, I would find a way to live here too. And I think this proves that you don't need techniques in order to manifest. You've been manifesting your whole life naturally. So if you just think about it, what did you do back then in order to manifest? Even if you didn't know about manifestation, what were you thinking? What were you doing? And how were you acting? For me, I just had this inner knowing. I had this belief that I knew I was meant to stay here, and that's what happened. I ended up staying here. Being homeless taught me a lot. It taught me how strong I actually am and how little it takes to make someone feel seen. And it also taught me how powerful it is to believe in something, even when the evidence around you is showing you something entirely different. It also taught me that manifestation isn't always pretty. Sometimes it starts with doubts and crying, and I had a lot of that in the beginning, especially when I was homeless. I didn't even know about manifestation back then, and I had all these emotions running through me. I would have doubts and negative thinking as well, but I had that inner knowing, that core belief that I was meant for more. And because I had that core belief, it panned out and it worked out for me. I want to give you a bit of encouragement. If you're going through it right now, maybe you're feeling broke, lost, or feeling forgotten, I want you to know this, that you don't have to have it all figured out to change your life. You don't need a perfect routine where you do affirmations or scripting. You just need that small belief that you're meant for this. Whatever it is you're manifesting, you're meant for it. Hold on to that. That's where your new chapter begins. Thank you for listening to my story and watching this video. You're not alone. If you're starting your manifestation journey, I have other videos that can support you along the way. Leave a comment if this resonated with you and make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.